Today's the day. You've got some free time and you're going to sit down and work on your project. So you open up your laptop, you pull open your editor, and just as you're thinking about what to write, you start to realize, I haven't checked the news today. I wonder what's going on. So you pull open your news sites, you see some crazy story about what's going on today. You have to spend some time reading that. And then after a little bit, you realize, okay, wait, I should be getting back to work. So you open up your editor again, and then a notification comes. You see you have a new message on Facebook. You realize, oh, I should probably respond to that and check out what's going on. You go through your timeline, and some time passes before you realize, wait, I should be getting back to work. I really could use some motivation right now just to get back into what I'm working on. Maybe I can find something on YouTube. So you open up YouTube, you go through your feed of subscriptions, you see all these recommended videos that look really good to watch. So you start going through the videos, and time just starts passing by faster and faster until you realize you've watched 5 or 6 videos. And you finally come back, you realize I should be getting back to work on my project. You open up your editor again, and this time you think, you know what, I'm kind of tired now. After watching all those videos, after doing all that other stuff, I just feel like I need a break. I need to get some food. So that would make me feel better if I had some food in my system. So you go get some food, you come back, and then you sit down again and you realize, well, I don't really want to eat and work at the same time. So you pull open YouTube and you start the whole process over again. How many times has this happened to you where you have this intention of something you're going to work on and you've set some time aside for the day, and then when you get to it, there's all these other distractions, all these other things that come up in your life that are just so much more interesting or fun or stimulating than what you actually sat down to do. This is the dopamine battle that's happening in your brain. So dopamine is the chemical that's responsible for the feeling of achievement, accomplishment, rewards. It's basically anytime you do something good or you've accomplished something, you get this feeling of happiness and joy. There was a study done on rats where they blocked the dopamine receptors of the rats, and the rats became so bored that they didn't even want to do anything. They just laid around, they didn't even bother to eat, and eventually they would just starve to death. So dopamine is a really important chemical for motivation and getting us to actually follow through and work on our goals. We have technology that is designed to stimulate these centers in our brain. They're designed to give us easy rewards for very minimal effort. And so a validation on a Facebook post, or watching a YouTube video and thinking you learned something, or just basically any novelty of a news story that comes up that you read. It all triggers this reward center in our brain and makes us feel like we're really getting things done. It makes us feel like we're learning things that are important. And what is the actual effect of it? These are things that aren't actually benefiting us in our goals. They're not really changing our life in any way, but they're stimulating these centers in our brain constantly. And so the brain becomes so overstimulated by the easy sources of dopamine that it never really wants to even try for the more difficult forms of dopamine that you get when you were to actually get your work done, or when you're actually to write a paper, or to practice something on guitar, or to do anything that actually is meaningful. So what's happening here? Your day's disappearing because you're watching YouTube videos, because you're reading Facebook, you're going through news articles, Instagram, whatever. There's all these sources of dopamine that are easy fixes, and it's much quicker to go and get those rewards than it is to get the rewards of doing the thing that you were supposed to have done, right? What I've started to do is try to recognize when this is happening. When I start to have that feeling coming on, like I sit down and I've got a craving of like, check this, check Facebook, check Instagram. I just think, okay, wait a second. Let me take that feeling, let me fully embrace it. Let me just realize that, you know what, this is an awesome feeling, because the fact that I'm feeling this means that by just not doing it, I'm overcoming that addiction. I'm overcoming that craving. And this is kind of the practice, there's a Buddhist practice called Tonglen, which is this idea of fully embracing suffering and pain and discomfort and boredom and what have you. and just taking that feeling and not trying to escape it. It's only through fully embracing a feeling that you can understand, one, where it's coming from, and two, can you be able to redirect it for something positive. So by taking this feeling of realizing, this is actually a good thing. This feeling means that this negative feeling, this feeling that feels like it sucks right now, is actually me overcoming that craving. That's a great redirection, and after enough time passes, I just close my eyes, think about it, mull over that feeling, and you know what? I open my eyes again, and at that point, I'm actually a little charged up again, because it's like, oh, you've just been sitting still for like 30 seconds or something like that. So you've been wanting to do something. There's like all this pent up energy now inside of you to do something, and then you can apply that to the work that you were working on. So another thing that's been really good for me is this idea of negative visualization. So it's borrowed from Stoicism, and the idea is that by thinking of some very negative thoughts, something that's like horrible happening to you, it kind of puts things into perspective, and you're not as concerned with trivial things anymore. And also, it just makes you more grateful for the things that you do have. So one example for me would be, if I'm working on a project and I want to get it done, imagine you're just thrown into jail. You're in this horrible tiny cell in a dungeon, and there's bars all around you. And the guard comes over and he says that the only way for you to get this key is for you to work on that computer over there, and you have an hour a day to do it. And so at that point, if you're in that hour of working on the computer, you're going to be focused on whatever your task is. You're not going, if you're like, this is my only way to get freedom, my only way to get out is through working on that task, you're not going to be distracted by Reddit or Facebook or YouTube, because your priorities have completely shifted. Something like this is a way of just kind of putting things into perspective and allowing yourself to focus on the things that are more important to you. And so the last thing I've been doing is try to create more resistance for myself. If I get a notification on my phone, that immediately is a battle for me. Like, it's like, oh shit, I've got Facebook here, and it's popping up that someone messaged me. Like, the monkey brain comes in at that point, and it wants to check that site really badly, and it's a fight to be able to tell it, no, not right now. So instead of even having that battle, just avoid it altogether. Turn off notifications from Facebook, turn off notifications from Instagram and YouTube and whatever. And just keep adding more resistance. Maybe even uninstall them from your phone. Well, one thing that's been really helpful for me is trying this Chrome extension called Mindful Browsing. What it does is, anytime you visit one of the sites you flag as distracting, it just prompts you, are you sure you want to do this? Do you want to spend 10 minutes here, or maybe no, not right now? And just that little extra resistance where you have to confirm, you have to acknowledge, yes, I'm going to spend 10 minutes distracting myself. This extra bit of resistance a lot of the time is enough for me to say, yeah, you know what, I really shouldn't be doing this right now. I don't want to do this right now, and I'm going to say no, and close it out. So those are some easy things you can start to try to just make yourself more aware of the easy sources of dopamine that you're defaulting to, the habits that are just constantly wasting time and causing you to feel like you've accomplished something when you're really not. Hopefully that helps. Let me know in the comments things that you've tried and what's worked for you. I really think it's important to start saying no to more things and start cutting out these easy sources of dopamine, because once you do that, you start creating space for things that matter, and basically get your dopamine from actual accomplishments, not just some random like on a Facebook post. All right. That's it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.